Okay, hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new Class 66 Rocks review. Now in this review we're taking a look at the Star Trek Official Starships collection, which is part of the Eaglemoss Collections range. Now this particular model I've had quite some time, but due to university commitments and work commitments, as previously mentioned in other videos, I'm only just getting round to getting most of these models reviewed now, so I'm getting some form of work-life balance back. So let's take a look at what we've got today then. So as we can see today, we have issue 32 of the Star Trek Official Starships collection, and as we can see it's a Starfleet runabout, and I think the name on the front here is actually USS Orinoco. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. It has the registration NCC-72905, I think it is, but we'll see better on the model anyway. And it is a Danube or Danube class runabout. So we'll just take a look at the magazine first. So as you can see on the front, we have an image of the ship that we're going to be taking a look at today. This video will be split into two parts as per usual: review of the magazine and model, and then we'll put the model on the display stand. I'll take the camcorder off the tripod and we'll look at it from like a ground level. So as you can see, we've got the runabout specifications. A bit of information about the runabout, as you can see. Now I think the runabouts were mainly used in Deep Space Nine. I mean, as you can see there, if I'm not mistaken, that's Benjamin Sisko, and that should be Lieutenant Dax. So I do actually watch Deep Space Nine. I've actually got into it. I mean, it was a series I never really watched before when I was a child, but recently it's come onto a TV channel that we've got on our TV. So I thought I'd try and watch a few episodes and see what it was about. So as you can see, it definitely featured in Deep Space Nine, because obviously we've got the wormhole and Deep Space Nine, and the wormhole was to the Alpha Quadrant, I think it was, unless if there's more worlds going to be discovered in episodes that I haven't seen yet. So as you can see, we've got the specification for the runabout, as you can see. So moving on, obviously as you can see here, we have an original image of the USS Enterprise's runabout, NCC-1701, compared to what they used to be back in the original Star Trek series, and how they've progressed into very different models that you see in the TV series today. Now, whilst we're on the discussion of Star Trek, actually, I don't know whether any of you have seen on Facebook, if you're on there, they're actually planning a new series. I think in 2017, I think they said it was going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. Be interesting to see what the storyline is behind it and where on the Star Trek timeline it actually fits. So as you can see, again we have some more information about the runabout, and we also have its on-screen appearances. So obviously if we just look here, we can see TV appearances. The runabouts were in The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, first appeared in The Next Generation, last appeared in Deep Space Nine, and it tells you who it was designed by. So as you can see, we have that just there. Okay, so that's the magazine out of the way. So let's take a look at the box. So the first thing that I'll mention is, I mean, I've had this off eBay, but when I received it, the box had got a slight little tear on the corner. I'm not too bothered about that, because the model inside is obviously protected very well, so it hasn't damaged the model in any way. But as you can see on the front of the box, we have the word Star Trek. Turn the box round to the side now, we can see we have the Voyager logo, Deep Space Nine logo, the Next Generation logo, and Star Trek Enterprise logo. So if we just take a look at the front of the box, we can see we've got the Starfleet logo on the front, and the StarTrek.com website underneath. So let's take this model out and take a look at it. Okay, so we'll just take the plastic packaging off, and we'll take the runabout out. Okay, so before I just show you the runabout, as we can see here, we've got the display stand that the runabout fits onto, and we've also got the display stand itself in this clear plastic bag just here. So if you take this out of the packaging, we can see on the bottom here it says Danube class runabout 3193-A /A. So I'm not too sure what the bottom bit actually means for this particular one, but if you do know, please leave your comments below. Okay, so I'll just move all this packaging and stand out of the way, and we'll take a look at the model itself. Okay, so here we have the Danube class runabout, the USS Orinoco, or Orinoco, however you pronounce it. It is actually a strange name actually, but if you do know what it's named after, please leave your comments below, because I'd be interested to find out. So let's start with the front of the runabout. So as you can see on the front, we've got the ship's windows and the registration mark NCC-72905. So obviously this is where the captain or whoever's piloting it looks out into space. So let's take a look at the side of the model. So as you can see here, I think this area just here is the door that comes down where they walk in and out of the runabout. And as you can see, we also have the name Orinoco on the side just there. So moving along now, we can see again we have the registration number of the ship, as well as the warp coils, well, the warp drive, etc. Now as you can tell, the front of the ship is narrower than the back. The back is actually quite bulkier, it's a bit more expanded than the front. So obviously on the back you've got your living quarters, etc. I think obviously you've also got your weaponry on the back as well. Now turning the ship round to the back, as you can see we've also got what look like some windows on the back. But in some series of with the runabouts, the back actually comes down and they walk through the back of the runabout. This actually might still be the case with this one from Deep Space Nine. So, as I mentioned, this door on the front here, I mean this could be used, but mainly they come through this area here, so this pulls down, then once they've walked on it folds back up again. So taking a look at the back of the model, obviously you can see we've got a fair bit of detail to it. There's no parts that open or anything, so I can't really get inside the model to show you what else there is in. But like I say, we've also got weaponry. I think these were equipped with phasers and photon torpedoes as well. So there is weaponry in these small little ships, and they were quite manoeuvrable. I think they were more like for getting in and out of tight battles and tight spaces, compared to the larger battles that the Galaxy class starships etc. were used for. So what we will do now, we will put the model onto the display stand and we'll take a look at it from a ground level. So we've got the ship on the display stand now, as you can see. I've actually read the magazine. Now the door I was telling you about, which is that one just there, that is actually a docking hatch. So I had to just take a quick look at the magazine before I started filming this piece, just so I could tell you that bit of information. So let's start with the front. So as you can see, if I just zoom in slightly, we've got the registration number of the ship and the name. along with the windows. So if we just zoom out slightly, so moving around now, you can see we've got the warp nacelles and the warp drive, and we've also got the support structure, I think it is, that it's referred to in the magazine. So I'm just taking a look now at the magazines to see what it says. So it says pod support strut on it, so it must be for escape pods, hence why the back area is a bit bulkier. So what we'll do now, we'll just turn the ship round to the back. So obviously on the back here you can see we've got the engines, which are tucked under here somewhere. Now in the magazine it says impulse engines, so I'm guessing that in between just here and here. So they are featured, it's just a bit hard to spot them at the minute. So turning the ship round to this side now, as you can see, we've got the warp nacelles and the warp drive, the registration mark of the ship. Now looking at the magazine again, because obviously I can't say too much about this particular model, with it just being a runabout, but it says we have impulse engines, there's a pod support strut, that's why these are on here, these areas just there. It says we've got a mission specific pod, which is this area just on top, just here. The back that I mentioned was a door. It says it's the habitat module. And apparently this is actually a living area. So this is the area that they live in. So they must gain access to the front of the ship somewhere else, as the only other place that they could possibly come through would be the docking hatch. But like I say, there's not much I can say about this particular model, because it's not like a Galaxy class starship, it's just like a sort of shuttlecraft, if you will. So that is it, basically. The USS Orinoco Eaglemoss Collections Star Trek Starship Collection.